Okay, I'm going to teach you how to make colloidal silver. This is the way that I was taught through a friend of mine. So I'll try to go through step by step and give some instructions, I guess, on how to make it. So before we start on the actual colloidal silver, the first thing you need to do is to make a saline solution that actually helps the silver particles to disperse into the water. So to make the saline solution, you start with a 2-ounce dropper bottle. This dropper bottle you fill up to the neck of it with distilled water. You have to always make sure when you make saline and when you make the colloidal silver that you start with distilled water. It has got to be distilled water. It cannot be substituted for tap water or purified water or filtered water. It has to be distilled. So keep that in mind. You fill the dropper bottle up to the neck with distilled water. Then you take 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, of sea salt. And I've actually already crushed this to the best of my ability with a spoon. But the way I do that is I take a metal spoon and I would literally just roll it to crush the salt. Just roll it like so and crush the salt up as best as you can. And if you don't get it completely crushed, it's okay. It won't be the end of the world because it will dissolve. It just takes a little more elbow grease. So you take your 1/2 teaspoon of crushed salt, sea salt, and you add it into the distilled water. Use a little funnel there, keeps you from spilling it.
I'm going to add here that as far as sea salt, we use the Himalayan pink sea salt because it's smaller than the Celtic type sea salt, so it's probably easier for you to crush, correct?
Yes. Okay. As long as it's pure, I guess organic and untampered with salt, as long as it's natural, pure sea salt, I'm sure it will be fine. So you place the lid back on the bottle and then you shake this, and you shake it, you shake it, shake it, and as you can see, I guess you probably can't see on the video, you just hold it up to a light and you can see the particles in there. You'll be able to see if it's dissolved or not.
Now, do we have to use a brown bottle?
You want to use an amber bottle for the saline and for the colloidal silver. It keeps the sunlight out and it helps to prolong, I guess, the effectiveness of the colloidal silver. And as well, I think on the eyedropper for the saline, I assume that you need to use amber as well. But that gets provided with the kit. So we do that. I've actually got one here that's already mixed up. I'm going to use that. So that's your saline solution, and that's integral to using. You have to use that, I guess, to make colloidal silver. So the next step is you take a glass. You put 16 ounces of distilled water in the glass. It needs to be a glass container as well. You don't ever want to use metal. Aside from your silver wires, there should be no metal involved other than crushing your salt. 16 ounces of water go in a glass, and then you're going to add 4 drops of the saline solution to that 16 ounces of water. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have instructions that I will include with this. You can make less at a time. It does not have to be 16 ounces. But the rule of thumb on the saline solution is it's 1 drop per 4 ounces of water. So for every 4 ounces of water, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 1 drop per every 4 ounces of water. So for every 4 ounces of water, it's 1 drop. You can make more or less. You add your saline solution, you stir it up, get it mixed up with a plastic spoon, again, no metal. Now you're ready for to add your silver wires. These wires come included in the kit. The ones you get will be straight, so I just bend a little hook in the end of it, and that allows it to hook on the side of the jar or the glass. And I always try to go opposing sides. I keep the wires as far apart as I can. You don't want them to touch. Then you take the little alligator clips on the little generator, this colloidal silver generator, and you hook 1 to either wire. Just clamp it on the end of the wire. Do the same on the other side. Now at this point it's actually working. No, it's not. It would be working. I don't have batteries in that one. Let me grab my other one here. The way I knew that was not working is there is a green LED light on the end of the generator that will come on when it actually makes contact. If you can see the light down here, when I touch the wire,
you see it.
The light is on there. So it's actually working now, and you can verify this if you can get down on the side. On the wire that the silver wire that the red cable is tied to, you will see a little, real faint cloud of silver coming off of the length of that wire. And it may be hard to see on this video, but you'll be able to see it when you start making it on your own. The other wire, you will see small oxide bubbles coming off of it. So basically it's going right now, and for 16 ounces of water, you need to let this run for 11 to 12 minutes. That will give you the proper strength, I guess, of colloidal silver. So, the best way to do that probably is to do a kitchen timer on your stove, maybe. Just set that for 11 minutes and let it go. At the end of 11 minutes or 12 minutes, whichever, when it goes off, it's as simple as this. I'm not actually going to run this batch all the way just so I can show you for the sake of time. I can show you how it works. When you're done, you would unhook the leads. And what I will do is I usually will hook one to the tail end of the guard on the opposing lead that keeps them from contacting each other and running your batteries dead. You pull your wires out. Now you'll notice these wires don't show it because I didn't run it for very long, but the wires will build up some oxide or some oxidation on them. So the best way to remedy that is you take a paper towel and you dry them off, and then you'll take the green scour pad and you simply just pinch the wire and rake it across it 3 or 4 times, and that'll clean it off. And then I'll wipe it again, and then if you have maybe a bowl of distilled water that you can rinse them off and get them clean. I wouldn't do tap water. I would rinse them in distilled water. So that's how you do it. And then you would take your finished product when it's done. I actually have a glass here that we made earlier. It's already done. I'm going to do this. I'll do it right here. It's probably going to spill a little bit. We use a funnel to control as much spillage as we can. You just pour it into, this is an amber bottle, keeps the sunlight out to make it last longer. So you just pour it into there. I left a step out. Before you pour that in there, you want to stir it. You want to take your plastic spoon and you want to stir it up good to make sure, because some of that silver will settle to the bottom. So stir it up real well first. Then you pour it into your storage bottle. And it's as simple as that. You put the lid on it and it's good to go. When you store this, you always want to store it at a cool, dark place. We'll put it in the back of one of our kitchen cabinets usually is where we would store it, or maybe in the top of a closet where it's not in direct sunlight and it's doesn't have any heat sources near it. But that really is the gist of it. This dropper bottle of saline solution, you probably will be able to make 20 or 30 gallons of colloidal silver before you use all this up. But it's simply as easy as taking a half a teaspoon of salt, crushing it up, mixing it with 2 ounces of distilled water. Pretty cut and dry process. That's how you make colloidal silver.